It's your...
Thank you.
There you go.
I greatly appreciate the opportunity to testify today on the request and the importance of reinstating the 4E Waiver Authority and Washington State's interest in seeking a waiver. And Congressman Linder, I just spent some time with Senator Unterman at NCSL and learned about the progress of Georgia and was very impressed with the work that Georgia is doing. I am the immediate past chair of the Human Services and Welfare Committee for NCSL, which also supports extension of the waivers. Today, I will focus my attention on why states need funding flexibility to innovate and to demonstrate the long-term value of finance reform through 4E waivers. As you know, we're not asking for new money. We're asking to use existing money to improve outcomes and to test innovative strategies that really help keep children at home and keep families together. The underlying problem, as you're well aware, is that in order to receive reimbursement from Title IV-E, we have to place a child in foster care. And as states succeed in bringing down their foster care caseloads, they lose their federal funding. Washington has reduced its caseloads by 13.8%. And we have lost $2.7 million over the last 2 years. We are very committed to funding prevention and early intervention programs and are investing heavily in evidence-based programs. One in particular, the Intensive Family Preservation Program. In the last budget, we put $5 million into this evidence-based practice at the front end and are seeing great results. It's a very intensive program that lasts from 30 to 45 days working with families. The therapist goes into the family. 89% of the families served are at imminent risk of a child being placed out of home. 8% need intensive services to reunify with their child, and 3% are at risk of placement disruption, their foster parents. We have a 95% success rate with this program. And 6 months out, 75% of those children are still home and still safe. This is an evidence-based practice that we would like to expand, and yet our resources are diminishing to be able to sustain this. We support a broad range of prevention strategies. I was with a caseworker in Vancouver a few months ago who had been with a young mom with a baby, and the risk she felt was high, but she wanted to get a public health nurse in there to support the mom and felt that would make the difference, and she was unable to get a public health nurse, so she took the child and placed the child in foster care. Those placements are avoidable if we have the resources at the front end and if we are able to really invest in innovative strategies to figure out how we can best address the needs of family. We are facing in Washington another looming budget gap. If FMAP doesn't pass, we have a $480 million hole. So we really need tools to keep our investments and to assure that we can continue to keep these front-end services that really protect families and work with them. We're making tremendous progress in Washington, and we're very proud of it. We passed a new child welfare reform law, which requires the department to implement performance-based contracts. We're going to be purchasing outcomes instead of services, and we're going to be holding contractors accountable for what happens with families. That law also directs the Office of Financial Management to develop a proposal for reinvesting savings from reduced caseloads into evidence-based prevention and intervention programs designed to prevent the need for or reduce the duration of foster care placements. That is exactly the flexibility we are asking from Congress. Timing is everything. Washington is on the verge of implementing this new law. Our resources are very limited, and we really feel this waiver would help us move forward. The Bipartisan National Conference of State Legislatures also supports reinstating and expanding federal waiver authority so that states can use increased funding flexibility to test the effectiveness of evidence-based and promising interventions and to learn how we can improve the overall delivery of child welfare services. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, you provided great leadership in passing Fostering Connections to Success last year. And we urge you to come together again to provide this urgently needed authority and give states the ability to seek a waiver. We're not asking for more money. We're asking for the flexibility to use the same amount of money to test interventions and to produce better outcomes for vulnerable children and families. Thank you very much.